Hi. Kind of. Not really angry. Yeah, I am. I guess I am. A little bit. Okay. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. As you can see in the title, I watched a documentary. Documentaries and TVs are good to learn from, to know where the mainstream's at and all the science and the bullshit. So, we just had one on 9 p.m. to 10 p.m, which is prime time TV. Mainstream, the BBC too, the British Broadcasting Association, on a cancer treatment called proton beam therapy, right? This is new wave medicine. New wave medicine. This is it's good to watch this stuff because it's good to know where cancer treatment is headed in the mainstream. And is cancer treatment of the mainstream worse, better, equal? Well, why are they doing this? And I've got opinions, and I'll just try and explain to you what I saw. I'm learning a lot. I learned a lot in that 1 hour. I didn't know about proton beam therapy before this. Maybe you guys have heard of it before. If you're in the UK, actually, it's already in America and some other European countries. So if you're American, you might have heard of proton beam therapy. If you're in the UK, you would have heard of it because there was a girl in 2014, it made the mainstream news. It was massive news. 2014, there was a girl called Alicia King, whose parents wanted her to have this new treatment, proton beam therapy, which wasn't available in the UK at the time. It was only available in Germany and America, I think, at the time. And there was a big splash in the papers because this proton beam therapy was going to save her, and of course chemotherapy, surgery and radiation wouldn't. It would have killed her. Yeah, but anyway, to cut a long story short, it was big. And ever since that controversy, the UK decided it needed proton beam therapy. And now, since last December, unfortunately, they have in Manchester one of these machines. In London, they're getting one, so they're having two. They are so fucking dangerous. And let me explain why. This is what I mean. It's actually going backwards, right? From knowledge I attained from watching the documentary and the mechanics of how it works, let me explain to you why it's going backwards in treatment. What proton beam therapy does, in effect, is it ups... Oh, this is ridiculous. It ups the radiation levels of standard radiotherapy, right? Times a million. So now what they think is a genius idea is, radiotherapy... You see, the thing with radiotherapy is not good anyway, is it's very generic. It's hard to target the right things. So there's a tumour in the brain. With standard radiotherapy, it's hard to target just the tumour. It's going to damage a lot of other things, right? Well, the theory behind proton beam therapy, and it's kind of true, is they need to target. It's better at targeting a particular area. It can come at a perfect angle and target like a tumour, for example, right? It's perfect for that. But the problem is that they're using like it's times 10, times 20, times 30 times more powerful. In fact, it's so powerful, proton beam therapy, that they have to put meters and meters of concrete all around it to protect people. And not only this, when they actually give the treatment to the person, to the child, because it's mostly children they're doing with at the moment, damaged brains, all that stuff. When the treatment is given to the child, the people, the nurses and doctors with the control room have to go away. Not only is there a room separate, like in MRI scans, there's a room separate, that it keeps you away from the machine, so dangerous. This one is even more dangerous, the radiation levels. They have to leave like 100 meters, 200 meters away to another room whilst this radiation beam. That's what the levels of radiation therapy from this proton therapy machine. My God, do you realise what you're talking about? In the London one, they have to put it underground. They built it under... It's not even finished yet, but I was watching the process. They built it underground because it's so fucking dangerous. So they built it underground, and then they put meters and meters of concrete all around it because the radiation is so fucking intense. So, this is the idea behind mainstream cancer in 2019-20. Oh, let's target the cancer, but let's up the radiation levels. Yeah? Oh, X-rays isn't good enough. Standard radiation therapy is not good enough now. Let's be fucking scientists and let's fucking do this properly. Let's up the radiation levels. Let's do the treatment where we can't even... The doctors and nurses, not only in their completely different room, sealed up, they have to be at least 200 meters away while the treatment's going on. Oh, and if the cat... Madness! The radiation levels leaking out this. How can you come from a paradigm of fucking radiation treatment? I don't understand it. I don't understand where they're coming from this. I do understand it, but I'm ranting a little bit. Because they think the solution is, oh, let's up the radiation levels to ridiculous levels, like fucking X-Man. We're watching X-Man movie right now. Yeah, if you stand in that room when that boy's going that, you're gonna die. Yeah, you're gonna die. They have to move away. The concrete everywhere. It's fucking ridiculous amounts of radiation. Now, okay, it might be, they say a little bit better than radiation because even though it's way more radiation, it's targeted. Well, I was watching the documentary and still other areas outside of a tumour. So even though they have a perfect angle to come in, right? Try and imagine this. There's a tumour, say, in the middle of the brain. Actually, the boy in example had it in the middle of the brain. So they get the perfect angle, but and they make sure that the key areas of the hypothalamus, the stem cells, don't get damaged. So they'll say they make sure the key areas don't. But from what I was watching the documentary, they said that 30% surrounding areas of the brain. So imagine if it's in the center of your brain. You have to come in like this. That's going to be the high dose. Right in the center, the tumor is going to get 100% of the radiation, which is ridiculous. Now, 30% of the damage, still a lot, because we're talking about an extremely, shockingly high level of radiation, unparalleled in human history, quite frankly. I don't think there's anything... this is fucking scary shit. So 100% goes there to where they want it to go, and only 30% gets around it gets damaged. Sorry, 30% of the radiation hits the areas around it of the brain. So areas of the brain that you need that are nothing to do with the tumour get 30% of the damage. I wonder if that's going to have an effect on some child. So we're talking about 100% to a tumour, which, by the way, I don't even want to make another long video about tumours and how you're not even focusing on the right thing, trying to get rid of a tumour instead of fasting, fruiting, aged urine, fucking grounding, and throwing everything you've got for a kid on this fucking thing, which will get rid of it naturally. Fucking hell, man. Don't even forget about that. Forget about that shit for a second. 100% to a tumour, which is only there to keep you alive, by the way. Read Andrews. Cancer is not a disease, it's a survival mechanism. Tumour's just trying to survive, because you've been fucking whatever, even if it's a kid. Okay, it's a kid. So how did that come? Well, in my opinion, parents' ill health, and grandparents, and great-grandparents, and great-great-grandparents, and environment for the kid. All those factors. So yeah, it's not the kid's fault, but it is the parents' fault, it is the grandparents' fault, whatever reason. Anyway, as a kid, I digress. You get 100% to the tumour, which is just trying to keep you alive, you know, in a way, and probably would have just fucking healed itself if you did the health protocols for a kid. Probably, maybe 1 in 2 it wouldn't, but most of them would. 100% to the tumour, and then what concerns me the most in what I'm talking about is you're talking about 30% damage to other areas of the brain around that area, even if it's not the main ones according to science. Every area of the brain is fucking sacred, yeah? It's got neurons, this is kids as well. Every area of the brain is sacred. You're telling me you're going to get 30% around other areas of the brain. I don't give a shit if it's not the main parts of the brain, hypothalamus and stuff. That's killing kids, man. Do you think that's not going to have an effect? You wait. Here's my prediction. This is going to get bigger and bigger. It's so fucking expensive. The machines are so fucking heavy and so fucking dangerous. This is my prediction. They say, radiotherapy surgery is way worse for these kids, because it has obvious. They say for these kids, non-targeted, normal standard radiation, chemotherapy and surgery are way worse, because what happens with chemotherapy for those kids and radiation is the child has immediate side effects. Now, here's my prediction for what's going to happen as this goes mainstream and becomes more popular. And it's already, like I said, around the world, and it's become more. This is going to happen. They're going to start to notice that all the kids that are doing this treatment of proton beam therapy, not straight away, because they look normal straight away, what's going to happen is, as that kid grows up 5, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years long, if they survive that long, if they survive that long, if they do survive that long, they're going to find that those kids have severe brain damage and are not going to be normal kids. I mean that. Because if you're talking about damage to other areas of the brain with an extremely high powerful radiation device, which I can't emphasize enough, like I said at the beginning, has to be surrounded by meters and meters of concrete all around it, has to be put in buildings like a fucking hazmat way more extreme than hazmat chemotherapy radiation suit. You should see the building structures that have to do to protect people, to protect the outside people from the radiation quantities we're talking. So My prediction, 30% of other areas getting damaged in the sacred center. Do you think that's going to damage key areas of every area of the brain is key? What's going to happen is kids are going to have other problems from proton beam therapy. This is going to happen. Yes, we're going to have 5G going off, and that's going to be mainstream, going to cause lots of problems for all of us. You know, it's already around. That's going to come out, and it's going to eventually people are going to wake up to that. And now what I'm saying is people are eventually going to wake up to this one. This one's going to go mainstream and going to get massive, and the bigger this one goes, proton beam therapy, they're going to eventually fucking connect the dots that these kids aren't growing up properly and there's something wrong with them, because there will be something wrong with them. Because if you're talking about that high dose radiation to not just a fucking tumour to but 30% around, by the way, I'm shaking right now. I'm shaking with shock and passion. Shock, really. I'm actually shaking at the thought of it, like as I'm talking. So it's going to happen. This is a massive disaster. I can't see how this is going to be. Even in mainstream, they're supposed to make things better a little bit. This one, in my opinion, is one that's gone backwards, and it's going to cause major problems for anyone that undergoes it. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in the history of science. And no, it's not stupid. It's deliberate. It's deliberately done there to make people think that they're going forward with technology and helping people. And the way they can do that is because the side effects, like chemotherapy, radiosurgery, don't show up straight away. They show up in 5, 10, 20, 30 years' time. So that and the brain damage will take a while, but it's going to happen, and it's very fucking sad. And you heard it here first. Proton beam therapy. Go and Google that shit. Go and Google what how they build it, what it looks like. The building structure is like a fucking to protect you from the high dose radiation. What the people have to do they have to run away from such a distance, even though they're protected by loads of walls from this fucking device, and yet you're putting a kid in it. If the kid moves 3 millimeters wrong, the kid has to the person that goes to treatment has to keep exactly still. Now, if the kid or the person undergoing it moves 3 millimeters, literally 3 millimeters, which is nothing, the wrong part gets hit, and then serious complications come. So look at what we're saying here. You have to keep completely still. This is insanity, absolute fucking insanity. Thank fuck I don't work in a hospital. Thank fuck I'm never going to step foot in a hospital, conscious. I just don't want to be a part of this world and see that happen to somebody that I know or to people. I just don't want to be a part of this world when I see programs like this. It makes me fucking mad. It really does. And at the end, they were like, oh, and the mum was getting emotional at the end and saying, oh, thank you for my son. I was thinking, fucking hell. You don't realise what damage has been done to your son. Don't thank these fucking doctors. Don't thank these fucking nurses. They don't understand what they're doing. They're causing massive harm to people. This is the one. Proton beam therapy. Oh, the magic one. It's going to cause major issues. It's going to cause major, and it's going to blow up. Hopefully in my lifetime, whilst I'm here in duality on this earth, I would like to see some vindication of what I know is going to be true, which is just like, this proton beam therapy seems to be making people worse. These youngsters are now turning up and their brains are fucked. They're getting Alzheimer's, dementias, and new diseases. No doubt there'll be new diseases for this brain damage that's going on with proton beam therapy. Yeah, new diseases that we haven't even got right now because we're dealing with radiation levels that are ridiculous. It's just crazy. I fucking hate it, man. What am I doing here? What are we doing? What are we doing? Get me the fuck out of this place. No, I'm joking. I love it. I'm just in the mindset now, having watched the documentary. Just good to get back into. To remind myself of how crazy the world is. I don't see it around me. We're in a bubble right now, just where we do our health protocols. I feel so energetic, and I'm surrounded by you guys, and I feel in a bubble. I need to be in it. That's why I want to get away from this all. And but it's not good to get out of the bubble and to see what's going for the future of humanity. People that brothers and sisters. We're all people at the end of the day. I don't want to see people like this, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, Rosie, you know, it's very sad. Anyway, so yeah, have a look at yourself. The case of Aisha King was big in the UK. If you're UK bound, you would have known that. 2014, that blew up. Everyone was bragging on about it. So much so it blew up. The proton beam therapy, that the mothers wanted it, that they got it in. Now we have one in Manchester since the end of 2018, and one in London next year. And Germany's got them. America, you've got them. And there's going to be more and more of these proton beam therapies because Like I said, the side effects won't show up for 10, 20, 30 years time, so probably long after we're gone, it'll eventually start. I don't think in our lifetimes we're going to see less of them. It's not like cigarette smoking. It's going to take a long time for people to wake up to this bullshit. In the meantime, it's nice to know that cancer is curable. Cancer is a survival mechanism. Even for kids that have cancer, what you do is you throw everything that we know at the. If I had a kid that had cancer, I would throw everything that I know at it, and I know that I would do the best that I could. Now, sometimes maybe 1 in 1,000, 10,000. If I underwent a program with a kid, had a serious tumor, maybe 1 in 10,000. I'm just hypothesizing, but very few wouldn't regress and be healed with what we know. Not just me, with what you guys know. Most of them would be healed. It just takes time, persistency, and all the shit we know on health. And what people want, what the mainstream want, is a fucking quick pill. Let's throw 10,000 beams of protons at a really high dose and, hope that nothing else gets damaged. How ridiculous is that? So ridiculous. Shit, what have I done? I've changed the fucking... Yeah, it's very sad. Alright. Mainstream cancer. Whoa, let's go. Proton beam therapy, let's up the radiation doses. Let's turn them into X-Men. Let's blast and poison the bad shit that's trying to keep you alive. Yeah, because the body doesn't know how to heal itself. Did you not know that? The body doesn't know how to heal itself. We have to get machines and technology to heal the body. To poison, cut, slash, burn, and now we're going to poison it times 1 billion, see what happens, and we're going to throw everything at this cancer. Yeah. And don't allow the body to heal itself. Let's use the machine. Let's use the technology. Fucking hell, man. What a fucking world. Alright, okay. Cheers, guys.